So we are continuing with the topic of design a way of life, and up to now we have discussed the three stages, three steps of design thinking. Now I am moving to the fourth step, that is the ideate. So after understanding, observing, and defining the problem, next is the ideate. So here in this ideate step, you have to come up with solutions. So under understanding, we try to understand that how we are going to move with the problem. In the observation stage, we try to collect the data. In the defining stage, we try to compile the data to give it certain shape and to come up with certain direction. Now, under the ideate stage, we have to find the solutions based on a defining stage. Large quantities of ideas are always invited, so it's not that the entire team will work on one certain idea. Everybody can ideate their own model, and then people can again discuss that what can be done. Okay, the more the ideas, there are high chances that you get a better solution. Even two or three ideas at the later stage can be merged to give it a better to come up with a better solution. So just don't stop yourself to think in a creative manner. The more you try to come up with solutions, the more options you have, the more better solutions you may get. Wide scope of ideas addressing critical needs should be the focused area while ideating. So, while ideating, what you are going to actually do is go wild and think in different directions. So, you don't need to think that what others will say or what your solution is talking about. If you think that it can make little sense or it may not even you are in a fun mood and try to make something very different in your thought process, just do it, because you never know whatever you are doing in the fun mode may give you some hint for a better solution. Build on the ideas of others. So as I said, that we need to converge. So if we find that somebody has come up with certain idea, I can build over that, I can help to build over that. So try to understand what others are doing, not just don't focus only on your idea. See what others are also doing, and in case you can help them build their idea, please then go ahead, because you also have a good observation set of good data with you. Be little visual, defer the judgment. So if you are thinking that you are leading towards certain solution, still we are not there, guys. So just defer the judgment, what is right, what is not right. You are just creating, you are just ideating, and all the options which you are making here may or may not make sense. So just defer the judgment that this is the right solution and I need to go with this solution. Get concrete, go for quantity, and stay focused on the topic. So every time you are making something, just be focused that what was your problem and what observation you made. uh, the fifth step is to prototype. Know what you want to learn, test and validate. So here in the prototyping, you actually make a proper kind of thing. So in case you are designing a bottle, you come up with design. In case you are designing a school, you can make a small prototype out of that. So use cardboards, use sketch pens, use crayons, use different papers. Try to be innovative while making your prototype. Try to come up with certain shape and size of your product, or in case that's a service, then do ensure that you write everything in such a way that it looks very apparent that what you want to do. Build prototypes, develop ideas further, experiment, and then ideas are made tangible in this stage. So prototyping will give you a fair hint that whatever was there in your mind, whether that can take real shape or not. So while giving it a shape, at times again you deviate from your original idea, and so that is the power of prototyping. So what you have to do is that you have to stop talking and start doing. This is one of the most active step under the design thinking, where you should be full of energy, because up whatever you have observed, understood, the way you have defined and the way you have ideate is now taking some shape. So this is the point where you go into action directly. Be aware of critical functions, know what you want to learn from the users, allow interaction, kill your darlings. Now this one point is very important. What happens, this is a kind of human tendency, that if I like certain things, okay, and it goes in my mind, then no matter what, at every cost I want to keep that one feature in my product. Okay, this happens with everybody. So you need to kill your darlings in case you have something in mind which you wanted to keep in the prototype and as a final product, in the final product. Then if your team members are asking much of the question on that, and you feel that their questions are valid, you need to leave that one darling of yours. So don't keep that feature in the product, don't keep that feature in the service also. Be ready to iterate very quickly. So prototyping is all about coming up with some handy solution, the way the product will look like. Okay, so this is one last thing which we do to give a shape to our ideas. uh, Next stage is testing. This is the sixth and the last step in design thinking. So, testing here, under the stage of testing, we get new insights and learn more. Receive early user feedback. So, with the prototype, whatever you have made, just go to the users again and ask them whether whatever you have made is as per their expectation or not. So here I have written test, don't sell in the last line. Test, don't sell. This is very important. So you have to just take the feedback. You don't know, need to tell the people that this is the product and you need to buy it. Actually, just ask whether this product will serve your requirement, or whether this product is close to what you were telling me in the past. Will this serve your purpose? Will this solve your problem? What do you think about the design and the shape? Will this be friendly to use or not? Okay, so these questions and the feedback, if you get the kind of feedback which you are getting, will actually lead you whether the product or the service which you have come up with is the final one or not. So in case there is some deficiency or the defect, still go back and do those changes, incorporate those changes, so as to make it a final product. Analyze conscious and unconscious needs. Be ready to iterate very quickly. Co-creation with the user is the power of the testing. As I said, you don't need to sell your product, but then you need to take a feedback. So if the feedback is positive, all your 5 steps which you have passed through has given you good result. But if not, then ask the user that what changes you are still looking forward to, and incorporate those changes and go back to the user again to ask whether now is the product foolproof, this is exactly what you wanted, will this serve your need or not. So testing is very powerful way in the design thinking, where you co-create with the user. So, what you have to keep it in mind is number one, show, don't tell. Gain empathy through observation and engagement again. So, if you feel that you have put lot of effort while passing through all the first five steps, and you don't want to now listen to the user, then you may lose your focus. So, in this case, be empathetic again, be observant again, try to engage with the user, try to get their feedback and update or upgrade your product as per the user requirement. Even if after the testing stage you come to know that your product is not what is demanded by the customer, then do make all the changes all over again and go through these stages all over again so as to come up with a final good product. Test, don't sell. As I've discussed this, you are not selling your product here, you are just testing your product. Please keep this in mind that your focus should be on the feedback only. um, Now, as we have completed the 6 steps of the design thinking, we need to now think that how ideas or creative ideas can be generated. Uh, Under the design thinking steps, when we are collecting the information, those information are very useful to generate the ideas. But while doing this process all over again and again, probably at sometimes we feel that my mind is stuck somewhere and I'm not getting new creative ideas. This happens with all the people who are primarily whose profession are primarily based on creativity. For example, the lyrics writer, or the people who makes the music, people who write the movies stories, or authors who write the book. So you will of course understand this point, that there is a time when we feel that we are not getting some new ideas or we are not getting inspiration. So you must have heard that people try out different things to get new inspiration and to get a better creative idea also. So here exactly the same problem your team may also face. So how you can generate ideas, there are some tips on my slide which can help you. Number one is the brainstorming. Uh, the idea of the brainstorming is very good one, but you need to keep in mind that no idea is a bad idea. So we all know how brainstorming is done. So please sit with your team and come up with multiple ideas, but don't criticize each other. As I told you, that nothing is bad actually if somebody is giving you even such an idea which you think may never be implemented. Just laugh over it, and even while laughing think that whether some portion of that can be used or not. So no idea is a bad idea, just don't criticize. This is the only way how we get creative. Second is challenge the assumption. As I told you that only through traditional means of thinking if you go, then you will come up with traditional products only. In case you want to come up with new creative products, you need to break the assumptions, you need to challenge the assumptions, you need to redefine the assumptions. Third is reword the problem. So rewording of the problem may also solve some problem of your thought process. So if you are thinking problem in one particular way, try to reword it. In case there is a problem of a store where customers are not going, then think why the customers are not going. So problem is that customer footfall is less, but then why the customer footfall is less. So reword the problem, and you will be amazed that just by thinking in a new way, you may get certain hint that how you can solve the problem. Think in reverse. We must all have tried in our lives thinking in reverse direction. So it is simply you can simply say that while thinking reverse means that I know the solution, and so I'm going backward, that what all changes is required to incorporate those changes at a very first stage. Okay, so this may give you a very handy tip that how you can incorporate the changes in say some processes. Use random inputs. So random inputs can be as random as you can think, and one of the random inputs can be just open a book, take a word, and try to define problem in relation to that word. So you can simply understand how random input can be random. So it can be anything, just out of the box. You have to think, take a word and define problem, and try to build the problem around that word. it may give you certain, new path breaking ideas. Get someone else's perspective. Now see, what happens is that we think in a particular manner. I have a personality, I have a thought process, I have an opinion, and at times we are not able to break that. So one of the good example here can be, you ask about something from a child, maybe of 4 5 7 years, and you will be amazed to see their answers. Probably I may never think on those lines, because the way a child see things, I may never see. Similarly, ask your grandmothers or grandfathers, they will tell you altogether different story, right? So getting someone else's perspective is also very important, because that is the way where you will get some better idea. Okay, so if I think that I am stuck, take help of others. Change of environment. You must have heard that many times people go for outing, go for some quiet places, go for tour and all, just to change the environment. So this is also correct. I don't mean to say that you need to go on a tour, but yes, at least you can step out from your office environment and go close to those people where the solution lies. So just change your environment where you think, and where you sit and think, and that change of environment may bring some new thought processes in your mind. Fun and humor. Try to add fun and humor. At times, adding the fun and the humor may make you too creative to solve a problem. And the last is play if I were game. So this is for a metaphorical thinking. So try to play a game. If I am the prime minister, what will I do? So some kind of random input will come, and that may give you a hint. What if I become, say, the CEO of the company, or what if I become a farmer? What if I become some other person? So how will I deal with this situation? So as a person, as a team member, I may not be able to think, but when I step in the shoes of some other person, probably I see the problem in a different angle, and altogether you may get some good innovative ideas. So these are some of the inputs for generating ideas. I hope this lecture was helpful in generating creative thought process in you, and you will follow these design thinking steps to uh, to make changes in your lives and also in your professional life. So thank you from my side.